This is a much shorter talk of a much longer talk, so wish me luck. I'm going to talk about how to create partnership with your product owner and getting reliability work done. So my name is Terri Haber, and my background is in Dev and Ops, and I got into the SRE gig at New Relic a couple of years ago, and I became passionate about helping teams manage their reliability challenges, particularly around building recipes for overcoming those challenges. So now I'm a program manager for New Relic, and I roll out reliability-related programs. And sometimes my job feels like herding kittens, but I really love it. So part of my job is making programs stick, and product owners are a big part of that. There's always this tension between working on new features and reliability work. And I'm talking about end-of-lifing legacy systems, game days, refactoring code, making sure the things we own don't bit rot. But we want to maintain a balance because all the nines won't make customers happy. Your product owner has a ton of expertise in making these trade-offs. They're the voice of the customer and the business. And you need to be intentional in roping them into this work because you can't just wave your hands and scream doom and gloom. They need data. So we have two methods that you can use to get real data and guidance on the health of your systems. The first is using SLIs and SLOs, and the other is the risk matrix review. So get these exercises on your PO's calendar. So quick overview, SLIs are the user capability that you want to be tracking. Service level objective is the metric that you want to hit, and the service level agreement is the contract bit, and that's out of scope. So here's a simple recipe. Most of these you can get help on with your PO, except for 4 or 5. You'll be sitting down with your team and actually instrumenting that. So next, what you want to do with this is to sit down with your architectural diagram. Your product owner can actually wrap system boundaries around these things because you want to map customer experience. You want to track that. That's all you care about. And next, what your product owner will do is to have real definitions of what available means because that'll help you actually instrument those SLIs. So next what you want to do is capture every time that capability is not available to your customer. The goal is to have visibility into how often the capability fails for the customer. Now there's a lot of ways you can do this, but you want to have real percentages of real availability. So after you've established baselines, you want to regularly sit down with your PO and review the numbers. You want to make it an official part of your retro, or perhaps you'll want to make it part of planning. You want to make sure that your product owner is okay with the actual customer numbers of the experience, and make sure you're consistently measuring the right thing. So to recap, you identify your system boundaries, you define the capabilities exposed by each system, get a plain language definition of available, define the corresponding SLIs, start measuring, and next you do a risk matrix. So what that is, it games out what the actual risks are to your system and gives you a visual of what the high impact risks are versus the things that are not so scary. So this looks familiar. Oh, it's an architectural diagram again. You always want to start with the actual reality of your system. And having your PO or your least senior member of your team draw that out gets you all aligned on what your system actually looks like. You're going to ponder that diagram, and you're going to ask yourselves, what could possibly go wrong? Now remember, reliability is not 100% uptime. That's not possible. What you want to do is make sure your systems are resilient when things inevitably go wrong, and building that into your systems. So you're going to document each risk with the likelihood and impact rating, low, medium, or high. Likelihood can be linked to incident history, if anything. For impact, use your incident severity rubric as a guide. And your PO will help you actually focus on customer capabilities. Your risks are not stories. Add tickets to your backlog that link to the risks. Get help from your PO to prioritize the work. It's important that you get alignment with your PO on how often that work should happen. So now that you've actually set your SLIs and you've done a risk review with your PO, you should be buddies now. You have given your PO actionable data that they can take back to the business and start balancing that work out with product work, with feature work. Thank you so much. Of course, that was a brief overview of all the things, so please track me down and hit me up with any questions or talking about resiliency and reliability. Thank you.